In the brutal game of evolution, there is only one rule: pass on your genes, or become an evolutionary dead end. Once an animal can no longer reproduce, nature usually has no more use for it. A chimpanzee reproduces until the day she dies. A wild elephant does the same. But humans have a massive, baffling glitch in the system. Human females routinely live decades after they stop having children. It's called menopause. And from a cold, Darwinian perspective, it makes absolutely no sense. Why would nature keep a mouth around to feed if it's no longer contributing to the gene pool? The answer to this mystery isn't just heartwarming. It's the secret reason humans conquered the planet. Menopause didn't just happen to us, it built civilization, supercharged our brains, and invented language. Welcome to the grandmother hypothesis. To understand why grandmas are an evolutionary superpower, we have to look at why human babies are so incredibly high maintenance. First, we evolved massive, fuel-hungry brains. Second, because we started walking upright on two legs, human pelvises narrowed. This created a dangerous bottleneck. If human babies stayed in the womb long enough to develop fully functional brains, their heads would be too big to be born safely. So, evolution made a deal. Human babies are born dynamic, brilliant, but completely useless and premature. They require years of intense, around-the-clock care. For a primitive human mother, having a new baby every few years while trying not to get eaten by a saber-toothed cat was an impossible math problem. She physically could not forage for enough calories to keep herself and multiple helpless children alive. Enter the ultimate sidekick. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer data noticed something spectacular. When a woman reaches her late 40s, her own reproductive risks skyrocket. If she dies giving birth to a new baby, her existing children lose their protector. So, evolution flipped a switch. It traded her ability to have babies for the ability to keep her grandchildren alive. Think about the sheer advantage this brought. The calorie boom. Grandmothers are elite, experienced foragers. Because they aren't nursing, they accumulate a massive surplus of calories to share. The weaning hack. By feeding toddlers solid food, like mashed roots and meat, grandmas allowed mothers to stop nursing sooner. The population boom. Because mom had help, she could safely have her next baby sooner. Statistically, in early human history, having a living grandmother nearby drastically increased a child's chances of surviving past age 5. Grandmas literally drove the population expansion of Homo sapiens. But grandmas didn't just bring home the food, they brought the data. Before books, Google, or hard drives, the human brain was the only storage device available, and the oldest brains held the most valuable data. Think about it. When a massive drought hits once every 50 years, a young mother doesn't know where the hidden water holes are. But the grandmother does. She remembers the last one. Because grandmothers were tasked with childcare, they became the primary culture transmitters of our species. To keep toddlers engaged, safe, and disciplined while mothers foraged, grandmothers used complex vocalizations, storytelling, and rule-making. They passed down myths, survival strategies, and social etiquette. For the first time in history, human knowledge didn't reset every generation. It accumulated. We became the only species that could build on the discoveries of our ancestors. Now, if this hypothesis is true, we should see it in other highly intelligent social animals, right? Well, out of the millions of species on Earth, there are only a tiny handful that experience menopause. And the most famous non-human member of the club? The killer whale. Female orcas stop breeding in their 30s or 40s, but can live past 90. Marine biologists have found that these grandmother whales are the vital leaders of their pods. During salmon shortages, it is the older, menopausal females who take the lead, navigating the pod to ancient, secret hunting grounds they remember from decades prior. If you remove the grandmother orca, the survival rate of the entire pod plummets. Sound familiar? We live in a modern culture that is obsessed with youth. often viewing aging as a defect to be cured. But biology tells a completely different story. Menopause isn't a breakdown of the human system. It is a brilliant, intentionally engineered feature. We didn't evolve large brains and then happen to live a long time. We evolved long lives so that we could grow large brains. We are human because our ancestors had grandmothers to teach them how to be. So, the next time a grandmother tells a long, winding story, pay attention. You're listening to the exact mechanism that built the human race.